All right. It's me. Y'all know what to do. Are y'all excited? What? Is this corner excited? All right, I'm just checking. My name is Ramonda Young, and I have the distinct pleasure of being one of the hosts this afternoon. You'll meet the other dynamic host. Her name is Dr. Gina Page, CEO, one of the co-founders of the Trailblazing African Ancestry. So let's give it up for Dr. Gina Page. Come on down, Dr. Page. Dr. Page has created this phenomenal organization along with her business partner, Dr. Kettles. So I'm just excited to have you here. It is Women's History Month. We are Women's History right here, right? But y'all didn't come to see us.
No,
we know.
I'm gonna sit down.
Y'all came to see the phenomenal White House correspondent, the DC bureau chief of the Griot, author, entrepreneur, mom, and just a phenomenal person in our community, in our nation, that has always been at the front edge, being our voice in so many places where we were not allowed to even have a voice. She has been that voice for us. So let's give it up for the amazing, the incomparable, and my friend, April Ryan. Woo! Yes. Let's see.
Hello, can you hear me?
Is her mic on?
My mic sounds nice.
Check.
Wow.
Okay.
That's how two. You want two? Yeah. There we go. Now that's how I start off every time I'm on the mic somewhere. I have to invoke salt and pepper. You know, the sisters. Sisters. Guys, thank you so much for waiting for me. I truly live in Baltimore, okay? 5 accidents on the way. How about that? I'm like, on a Sunday afternoon, my daughter was like, it's a nice day, everybody's out. And they're running into each other, so. But it's a pleasure, thank you, forgive me, but we got a lot for you today. I'm gonna find out some stuff, we got some stuff. It's all about you guys, thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you for mentioning that. We are going to find out, because we have the amazing African ancestry here, April has agreed to find out her African ancestry DNA results, and it'll happen right here. She does not know.
I have no clue.
So you all are the first in the nation, and all of you on Livestream America will find out her results today as well. So
I've
we're
always wanted to know.
You
Ramonda
did.
Ramonda and Derek have always got surprises for me. Before COVID, we were supposed to go to Paris. Wait a
That's
minute,
right.
that's Sonia Ross.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it.
Way back in the White House days, this was the queen. For AP, yes, give her her flowers.
Woo!
I miss working with her. It was crazy in the Clinton years, and you began the Bush years, but you know, it's good to see. It's good to see you, my sister. She's an AKA Alma Delta, but it's okay.
I'm sorry, Zeta's up here too.
And Zeta,
Zeta's up
okay,
here.
we can't forget.
AKA's up here.
We have love for Divine Nine, and we have love for history. I have love for you, my sister. Thank you. Woo, child. She knew me before I got married and had children.
Okay. We have Sonia come up. We won't have you come up, Sonia. I'm watching.
She's got, now, somebody needs to write a book. She's got stories to tell. One of the, I always say this, one of the stories, there were not many black people on Air Force One during 9/11. This sister was on Air Force One. When Armageddon, we thought the world was coming to an end. This is when we were calling people, you know, before texting. I'm like, couldn't reach her. But the story you have, I keep telling you, I think she'll write it one day. Yeah.
That'll be good. Sonia Ross.
Yes.
At mahoganybooks.com.
Hey.
We'll introduce
With
the
our
book.
moderator, April Ryan. We can work out a whole event right here on this stage.
I'm a big networker. I like to push it and pass it along because sometimes we are shut out in spaces and places. And, you know, I just think she's got, what are you, Black Women Muted too and all that? She's doing a lot of stuff. So, yeah. So, yes, we all have a story. We all have little different things. And I think sometimes you meet the right people who are accepting of it, and then sometimes you meet other people who have sharp elbows, but you know, right, you know what I'm talking about, right? So sometimes you just still have to still push because we are still a community that looks for those resources and sources that other people have that we just are not connected to. So I appreciate, I said all that to say, I miss you, I appreciate you, and just, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
I know, boo, yes.
And since we're going to call it, you said Black Women Unmuted.
Okay, yeah.
Make sure
I want to make sure, but I knew she was doing with black women to make them get their voices out, yes.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
But I'm excited, too, because you agreed to say yes to African ancestry, to find out about your DNA. So we'll do that at the end. And,
Okay.
I'm
5
just excited.
generations removed from the last known slave in my family.
Okay.
I saw that in your.
Dollar Brown,
Okay.
Yeah, he was a slave. He had a whole bunch of kids. I'm from that lineage, so
Okay.
I want to find out where he was from. It's on my mother's side, right?
Right. So we're gonna tell you the ancestry of your mother's 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 mother, going back 2,000 years, the present day African country and ethnic group.
And can I just pause because of your mom, Mama Vivian, who you have so beautifully put just so many snippets of her throughout the
Yeah.
book and means something to you. But
My late
this wasn't
mother.
part of the script, but this is what we're going to do, right? But I just want us to all pause for the people that are not here. Miss Vivian is not here.
Yeah.
And there's different people that have
Sonya's
passed
mother,
recently.
she lost her mother, and many of us, I'm sure, we lost women who were significant to us.
Yeah. So let's just take a moment. We've been through COVID,
Mm.
in COVID, and there's people in our families that may not even be here to this day. But I just want us to pause for just a few seconds for those ancestors. I'm thinking of the people that, you know, from the African ancestry side that are not even here with us as well. So let's just take a moment to breathe and just pause just a few seconds to think about those people who are not here today, that we are all representing them. Can we do that? Is that okay? Can I hear y'all snap for me? All right, we're gonna just 3 seconds. Thank you. Thank you for making that space. Thank you. Let's get into it because we came in here for Black Women Will Save the World.
And this is March. This is March, right?
That's
yeah.
right.
So what do you want to know about Black women saving the world?
So this book, April, I mean, there's so many pieces. Gina and I were talking about it earlier. There were so many pieces in this book. But one thing that stood out to me, you talked about Kamala Harris, and not just Kamala Harris, but this tightrope as women that we have to walk. Whether it's us learning how to code switch and not code switch, whether it's us, this space that we have to delicately walk into. How has that been for you when you think of Black women saving the world? What has that been for you?
you talk about code switching. I'm very authentic. I'm from Baltimore. When you are in a community that has the word failure built into your very existence, all you can be is authentic. And many of you, I'm sure, when you catch the train going to New York or Philadelphia, you see glimpses of Baltimore. I didn't grow up in that part of Baltimore, but I did grow up in working class Baltimore, Black working class Baltimore, that sometimes took you in those places. So I am authentic, I am who I am. And unfortunately, when you go into spaces where they're very esteemed, if you will, it doesn't always play, you know? I'm not the code switcher. I am the authentic person. I'm the person who wants to wear braids at the White House. Now it's okay, you know? But before we had that conversation, you know, Sonya and I remember when you started rocking, and that was like in the 90s, the late 90s, and what are we in 2023? It was a big deal when what did you do? You did twists or something. You did braids or twists. And you did both? Yeah, okay. And first the braids and then the twists. And I'm like, when I first walked in there, they thought I was militant because I was asking questions about an underserved community. And if they're saying that, and if I roll up in there some braids, they think I'm Sister Soldier. You know, if I'm already quoting, you know, what is it, Salt and Pepper, you know. Code switching isn't for me. But I have to be authentic in every space that I am. And every space is not safe, right? But I have to be true to me. And for me, I walk in my truth at all times, except for wearing braids. One day I'm gonna do it.
Come on.
One day, no, because I'm serious. During the summers, I'll throw in some braids, you know, while I'm on vacation. But I need to, and I talk about that. I start off in the book. I start off in the book being in Martha's Vineyard, a place that I love. And I don't love it because people think it's bougie. I love it because it's a space for me to breathe. With people who are looking to breathe, people I work with their kids. It's family oriented, and I just want to breathe. And I was rocking my braids, because normally you see me either in my hair or hair that I bought. And, and I was rocking braids, and I'm sitting on the bench, two sheroes sitting on a bench, watching people commune together in the water with this thing called polar bear, these water aerobics. Yeah, I'm a polar bear for life. Thank you, sister. So they were doing water aerobics, people from all around the world, black people, white people, people from everywhere. Sometimes there are people from Angola, Rwanda, from Germany, from all walks of life in every part of the world. And I just drove in and I sat there and just watched, because we just got off the ferry and I was in braids. And this is the first time I really got a chance to thinking, that I was gonna breathe that year. And then a person I've always wanted to meet, and I was just so enthralled by her and her approach and how bold she was in spite of the darts thrown at her. And lo and behold, she didn't recognize me and I didn't recognize her. Nicole Hannah-Jones was sitting next to me with her red hair all tied up in a baseball cap, and here I am in braids, and she didn't know it was me and I didn't know it was her. And I heard she was on the island, and I had DM'd her on Twitter. I said, look, let's meet. And she said, I think I sat next to you. Were you rocking braids? I said, yeah. But it's sad that, still in certain spaces, we can't be our authentic selves. In a time when you have people like Ajua Biasamoa, who's pushing for the Crown Act on a federal level, And I love my sisters who are bold and authentic, who come out there natural and braided. And unfortunately, that's the only thing that really, that's my, I guess my last piece that I have to be bold with and walk into that White House with. She worked for AP, the Associated Press. She had more leeway than I did. Well, maybe not, but you were bold enough to do it. But when you already branded, coming in the door, you're militant, because I'm asking about issues for people who don't get answers all the time. Wasn't I branded that? I have to be careful in my approach so that I can get answers for the community that's in need of answers. So I walk authentically, but that's the last piece of authenticity, probably my last day or my last year. Y'all gonna know it's gonna be my last
When
year
you
or something.
come in there
I'll be in there with some box braids. I'm like, yeah. Can I get a question, sir? Or ma'am, That's next. What'd you say? Where I'm next week?
Next week.
I'm not saying that's gonna be my last year now. I got 26. I'm trying to beat the longest serving black person. You know what? I gotta get there. Because I'm gonna get there. That's but I'm looking towards that day. So yeah.
But you do it well. I've known you for about 8 years. And when I say one of the most authentic people, you are one of the most authentic people that I know. To have the platform that you have and to still be you, I respect that so much and I appreciate that so much. But so many other people get to see that as well. But that's one of the things that I really enjoy most.
Thank you.
Your authenticity. And when I think of, like I said, with Kamala Harris, you've said something so powerful to me in the book that I kind of processed too. You were saying how walking that tightrope, we can come out, and I don't code switch you. This is me. You get this all day. But I never thought about if I am so all the way out there, and I think I'm already out there, but the people that the people that need to come to the doors after me, if I'm so whatever, am I impacting them and shutting the door from them?
Right. And that's the problem. When you are so progressive, if you will, I'm not saying from a political standpoint, but if you're so for the people, think about this. Politics and party is supposed to be about people and humanity, right? It's forgotten, it seems. And when people go out to fight, they're labeled, the squad, right? People who are out there saying, I want something for the people. Progressiveness is almost a pejorative, if you will.
Yeah.
Activist is a pejorative, right? So how do you couch it to be the first and for the people and yet be considered mainstream? That's a hard thing to do. Think about Barack Obama in his first term. Think about the first term. Second term, it was gone. That bop was harder. The basketball playing was harder. He was more so his true authentic self than that first term. And the unfortunate piece is that when you're in these spaces, this is still a white male-dominated town. This is still a white male-dominated industry of politics, broadcasting, what have you. And still a white male-dominated society, no matter what people want to believe. even though the owner of my company is a billionaire and doing the damn thing. I'm talking about a bunch of commas and zeros, just bought a house, was it 100 million, just a house, $100 million. I can't even fathom $100, let alone $100 million, you know? But this is still, even Oprah, but this is still a white male dominated society. And look at the reaction for every bit of progression. They're banning our books. And don't think you're going to Florida and understand about Black history, right? So, I mean, and think of that. Because there's been so much progress, that progress is now coming with a price because it's wins. And we have to change our mindset and our narrative because we're saying we're losing. No, we're winning because they don't want us to know about our history because we are so powerful. And what we have overcome has been so powerful. And where we're landing is so powerful. Ketanji Brown Jackson, braid wearing, Maya Angelou quoting, sister who happens to be on the U.S. Supreme Court. You know? So, and that comes with a price. Look at when she was confirmed, her confirmation hearings. What does it look like? What does a woman look like? And then you have Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the former White House press secretary, who's now governor
Come on, Baltimore.
of
Come on.
Arkansas. What did she do? What did she say in that hateful, mean speech? The speech, her response to the State of the Union? She evoked Ketanji Brown Jackson. She didn't want wokeness. You know, she was talking about freedoms. Like, who are you talking about? And I've banned Latin, the word Latinx and CRT, and they're not even using CRT in Arkansas. How about that? Let's talk that truth. And then, but yet she's going to say, but you know, I was in high school when my father was governor, and Bill Clinton took the Little Rock Nine ceremoniously back into Central High School. Yeah, we were there too for that. But you talk about freedom and then you're going to quote that? Don't be, you know. She was speaking to the tiki torch carrying parts of America. Because there's so much winning from people who aren't supposed to win, from people who come from this ancestry. They're trying to take our history, strip us of everything. If they do that, if it's not just in Florida and it goes all across the nation, think about this. We won't hear about Trayvon Martin. We would not hear, and Trayvon Martin would have been 28 years old this year.
Wow.
28! A vigilante, right? We wouldn't know about Emmett Till. We just got the Emmett Till anti-lynching law, the first time in this nation, in the centuries, that there's there's a law, a federal law to prevent or to put punishment into lynching, right? They want us to be dumb to who we are, dumb to our strength, dumb to our overcoming. I'm sorry, that's not, you know, I'm going to continue to ask the questions, I'm going to continue to tell the truth. But think about this. If you speak that now, you're considered progressive and activist, pejorative, right? But now the new movement against that is, so how do you navigate through those waters because we've won? Let's say Stacey Abrams. She's not a loser. Maybe she will never be a governor, but that woman is a winner, and I'm gonna tell you why. I always say it because she changed that red state, your state, Georgia. She turned Georgia on. You know what? I love this. A preacher said something at the ceremonial swearing in on January 3rd of the CBC. He said, Lord, and thank you for letting us sing that song that whole year. Georgia on our mind. We had Georgia on our mind all of last year because of Stacey Abrams and Raphael Warnock, right? This woman won. This singular Black woman won. She didn't win the governorship, but she won something that they never imagined that we had the strength, the character, and the fortitude to do. A singular Black woman in the Deep South. There's Atlanta, then there's the rest of Georgia, right? Yeah, how about that? Can you say Ahmaud Arbery? There were Trump signs all along his walk going into that house. She won. She turned that red state blue by putting Raphael Warnock and Ossoff into office. But not only that, when this last vote came, and Warnock was against, what's his name, the person that Jamal Bryant said he wanted a runner for, that was crazy to even, that was crazy to even think that these two people would be against each other. But nonetheless, it happened. And then for that moment to happen, and for, you know how everyone says it's supposed to go down ballot. When you vote, you're supposed to go down ballot. They didn't go down ballot. They put all of their energy into voting against Stacey Abrams. Raphael Warnock did not get anywhere close. I mean, not Raphael, Herschel Walker did not get anywhere close to Brian Kemp received. So it was about going after this singular black woman to show her that they didn't want her. But what they showed me is that she's so powerful that they went and threw everything at her. Let me give you one more example of power. And this woman, if you will, is progressive. And I just interviewed her last week, and I told her this. I said, you know what, you're priceless. I'm talking about Karen Bass. Mike Caruso got Snoop Dogg, right? Everybody loves Snoop Dogg. Got Snoop Dogg and a couple other celebrities. He threw, once again, that figure, $100 million. Threw over $100 million. Karen Bass was $110 million that he threw out there to defeat her. She only had, all total, $15 million. And she won against all of that money. And then dark money. She's priceless. Black women do not understand the power that we wield. And when we speak that language, sometimes there's a price. Look at what happened to Stacey Abrams, but she's a winner. And the reason why there's a price is because she won.
That's right.
And she's going to continue to be a winner, but it's going to be harder for her because she's so powerful. And let's put that narrative there, not call her a loser. She's a winner because they're going after her so hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to get all excited, but I'm like, Venus here, Dr. Page.
Hey,
She has some
Dr.
questions
Yeah,
too.
so-
We'll try to go back and forth.
I really appreciate the history that you share in the book. You're in every, I feel like every few pages, you're like, go back and learn so that you can understand what I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you're very close to being the longest serving
No, I am.
black woman in
I'm
the White
the longest
House.
serving black woman
White
at
House
that White House.
correspondent.
Yes. 26 years.
Okay, nice.
And let me tell you something. That was, if I would have given up during that certain person who we shall not name, I didn't expect that. I didn't even know it was him. We looked and said, wait a minute, I've been here this long. Yeah,
So how did the Alice Dunnigans and the Ethel Paynes, how did they influence how you show up today as the White House correspondent for the Griot?
they didn't have the support at all. They were out there by themselves pretty much. They didn't have support inside. Which one, I don't know which one it was, but I think it was it Alice? It was Alice Dunnigan or Ethel Payne. One of them sold their jewelry to go on presidential trips. Alice, yes.
She
Alice
was the
Dunnigan.
first
Yeah.
black woman White House
So she
correspondent.
sold her jewelry to go on presidential trips, and she was writing for black media. But I also think about somebody, and I'm not just going to say women, because I think of Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm was a feminist, but the person that she wanted to fill her seat when she ran for president and fill her seat as congressperson was a man by the name of Ed Towns, Congressman Ed Towns of Brooklyn, New York. He happens to be my cousin. But she just didn't want a woman. She wanted a man to fill that seat. She wanted people to see that it takes all of us. But yes, she pushed for women's rights. But I'm going to go to somebody, not just Alice Dunnigan and Ethel Payne, but this gentleman by the name of Harry McAlpin. He went into rooms where they said, if you step on my feet, the white journalist said, if you step on my feet, there will be a riot. Right. It took presidential action. So it's the early black reporters at that White House who had to bear the brunt of racism for people who look like me, people who look like Darlene Superville of AP, for people who look like Sonia Ross, for people who look like a lot of those black reporters who've been through those doors, to Gwen Ifill, to Michelle Norris, to so many black people. They opened the doors for us. And we're still fighting the fight. Trust me, we're still fighting the fight. But they did lay the groundwork, and their truth, their books, their stories, and the fight to get the truth out. Black press, I'm telling you, the fight to get the truth out about who we are is so important. And what they sacrificed is nothing compared to what I went through. being told to get the CBC together and sit down, it was nothing. But the history books will show that we still have to deal with this mess, and it comes from the highest offices.
I want to say thank you because while your sacrifice may not be the same as theirs, you certainly have sacrificed for us in maintaining your sense of self and representing us from a Black media perspective. And so I want to thank you for that because you're the first person probably who had to stand, or what you're known for in my eyes, one of the many things is standing up to the bullying of a sitting president, which makes no sense. So thank you for your perseverance.
But I'm gonna say this, in that stand, and this is real, in that stand, there's a residue of hurt, you know? When you stand, things happen, you know, I had to move my home. I had to make my children feel safe while I was crying on the inside. I couldn't cry in front of them because my children were small at the time. My oldest daughter now, thank God, she's 20, she's over at American, and she wants to be a psychiatrist. I said, girl, I'm gonna be the first one on your couch. So my youngest is 15, and she's in high school, and we're still trying to navigate, figure out what she's gonna do. But it's hard, you know, to keep them whole while you're breaking on the inside and you're running from death threats, from emails, from letters, you know, the FBI showing up at your house, the bomb squad showing up at your house. It's real. You know, the residue is there. I'm on a couch every Tuesday morning before I go to work. I wouldn't be able to show up today if there wasn't a therapist that's there for me. I had to really find the right person. How many people can say you had a president and all his minions, anywhere you go, they're looking for you, they're waiting for you at the White House? I had to find somebody who was specific in dealing with PTSD, you know, and I have it, you know, from that. I work on it, you know, everybody is not a friend, but everybody's not a foe either, you know. And then in that, you know, my nerves were bad. I lost my hair, but I'm gonna tell you this is my real hair.
Okay.
So, but, you know, I may rock that again sometime soon, but who knows? I don't know. But, no, but it's a lot that comes with it. It's a lot that comes with it.
Yeah. One of the things you said, and then I'll
go
stop.
Go
One
ahead.
One of the things you said in the book that I loved, and I was telling Ramunda this upstairs, is that our sisterhood is our superheroes.
Sisterhood is our superpower. Yeah.
Superpower, yes. Yeah. Sisterhood is our superpower. And even, you know, at a Black business level, Derek and Ramunda are my business besties. Yeah. Mahogany Books and AfricanAncestry.com are business besties. And, you know, we make sure that at least once a quarter maybe, you know, we just have lunch and talk, or breakfast and
that
talk.
Connection to lift each other up and to build each other up. There's so many things that she's done for me, and some things that, you know, last weekend we've done. I mean, you know, it's just when you find good people who are into lifting you up and building you, you know. One of my things as a tribute to my mother, I started candles. My mother died of leukemia 16 years ago. I miss her tremendously. You just don't know. And when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, she passed. And during that time, I didn't have a chance to grieve. I had to protect her, protect my mind. And I never really grieved like I should have in that moment. And I think I have deferred grieving. So when she was dying, the doctor said that she couldn't burn firewood in the fireplace, and they loved the fireplace, you know. So we stopped, and my father stopped doing it because he missed my mother, you know. Until his death, he stopped. When my mother died, he couldn't do it anymore. And then they said also my mother loved candles. How many of you like candles? Oh, child, I love a good candle. A good long burning, room filling candle, yes. So the doctor said you cannot burn paraffin candles anymore. And at that time, 16 years ago, it was paraffin, right? And they said, oh, you got to do soy. Who could find a soy candle 16 years ago? Right. So I said, you know, I've been wanting to do it as an homage to my mother. So I started doing, my now fiance, when we started kind of dating, he was running after me for years. Again, not being able to trust somebody, right? So I wanted to make sure he was real. So when we finally started getting it together, like really dating, I said, you know, I was on the phone with him. I said, you know, you know, I want to make candles in homage to my mother. And this man said to me, well, you know, he said, well, you know, it's interesting you say that. I said, what do you mean? He said, I made candles. He said, because you know that certain brand is too expensive. I said, don't you ever tell a woman that you make candles, right? So, I know, right? She said, yeah, I know, exactly. He is a retired naval officer, but he would have been an art teacher. He's into arts and crafts if he had not gotten into the Navy. So I said, okay, he came over, and we did it out of a hobby at first. And she's like, let me check out those candles. And how many of you sold in your store now?
Wow,
Over
a
about
few
400, 300 to 400 candles in that store.
yes.
Those things are no joke. So we've got 5 stores up and down the East Coast. It's interesting. So she, you know, we a supplier of her candles.
Hey,
Thank you.
thank you.
But that's what, you know, and she was like, she's been giving me so much advice, and we're like communicating with different things, lifting each other up in different ways. Absolutely. And we believe I'm a believer, if you got something going on here, go over here, check this out. And she's just the same way. So I like people like that. I'm not trying to withhold nothing, but if you come at me and you wanna take some, oh no, we don't do that. I'm already a giver. Don't come at me the wrong way. Let's work together. But if you got the wrong spirit, I'm gonna shut down. So.
But you are a huge giver.
Oh.
Over the years, no, I say that again with the people that really honor your voice, listen to your voice.
Thank you.
And the businesses that you continuously shout out on your page or in social media. Some people, you know, we've met a lot of different people on this journey, Derek and I have, and that we don't see that often.
Oh, you're so
that
sweet.
people, I mean, it's real. People don't do that all the time. So we're always excited that you choose to say, hey, co-shop here, whether it's our store, whether it's whoever else that you really make space for businesses who are really having an idea and executing, and here you are just shining the light on them. So thank you for that. That's just
Thank you.
real.
I appreciate you. So that goes to all of that, what you just said about sisterhood, power and sisterhood. And not just that, but the part in the book where the black female mayors were getting together when they were going through problems. Lori Lightfoot, when she was a mayor, well, she's still a mayor. I guess she got and Keisha Lance Bottoms, they all communed together. When one was having a problem, they would talk to each other. And I believe in that. I believe we need a circle to help us, because sometimes we go through crazy tests, but we need to hear the other's testimony so we know we can get through. So I'm a firm believer in that, and that's where it is.
Well, I guess we have one more question. I'm going to say Gina's question.
Okay, good.
And then we'll open up for Q&A here as well. But, you know, when we think of Black Women Will Save the World, were you writing the book for Black women? Who are you writing this book for? Let's say that. Let's ask that. Who was it for?
I was writing this book because I see me in the mirror. And I saw me in Kamala, Kareem, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Frederica Newton, who's the widow of Huey P. Newton, Keisha Lance Bottoms. I saw you. I saw every Black woman. I saw my mom. I wanted to celebrate us because in 2023, I don't think Black women get their respect, their due, and people don't recognize the microaggressions or the macroaggressions. Your macro, you seen my macro. I need to tell you about my micro, but no, I don't think that we get the due. And I wrote the book out of my heart. But then I said, I hope that the world can understand and take this in. And when I go different places, there are a lot of, some places are more diverse than others. And I'm not just talking about race, I'm talking about gender too. Sometimes the men sit on the edge of their seats when we delve into some of the topics, because the men who love us want to know how they can help us. And that's what I love about it. And look at this gentleman right here. You, VCU. Look at him on the edge of his seat. I love that. That's what no, I'm serious. I love that. And we have such a cross section of people here, because when you have people who are not Black women, they want to learn more so they can help being allies, or what can I do? I hope it's not just because they think I'm going to talk about Trump, because I'm not. I didn't mean to say that word, but anyway. Child, let me tell you something. I got to go to therapy just because I said the word. Anyway, I need to call her now. No, but anyway, seriously, but I wrote it for the women that I see in my face every day. Because when I look in my mirror, I just don't see me. I see other women. I see women who are single like me, who are divorced, who are trying to make it in this world. Because technically, I'm not supposed to be where I am according to society, right? I'm a black woman from Baltimore, divorced, with 2 kids. I'm supposed to be crying for help. But I refuse to stay in a box. I refuse to let your microaggressions, I refuse to let your macroaggressions, I refuse to let your racism, I refuse to let your misogyny, I refuse to let anything that you put in front of my face stop me, like the other countless women that are in this room, all over the world, you know? That's who I wrote it for. And I had this in my heart for a long time. Actually, I talked to the gentleman that's my editor at HarperCollins now, Will Amistad, and we talked about the book a couple years ago. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. So, and he was like, not now, it's not the time. And then when course of events happened, he said, this is the time. And I'm actually shocked that it's this moment that we're celebrating black women. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that I'm the one, you know? But hey, I'm here, we're here.
Why are you shocked? Why do you say that you're shocked? I have a understand. I think I'm understanding, but I want them to know too. Why do you feel like you're shocked?
Come on, journalists in the making. I'm shocked because we have done so much for this nation, and we've not gotten our flowers. We've not gotten the recognition. We might get a little line here or there, a little short story. Sometimes we don't even make the A block. But I'm like, daggone it, we've done too much. Just think about this. And in the book, in 1966, the Black Panther Party was formed. The picture of the party, these fine men in these leather jackets and berets, right? They look good. They really did. But who made up the membership? 70% black women. And when we go to serve, whether it's in the church house, which we are disproportionately in, the church house, the workhouse, the schoolhouse, our house, when we go to serve, and studies say this, we go to serve to uplift because of love. We're the first ones running to the PTA in the school. Look, what did you do to my child? What happened? Seriously, you laugh because it's the truth. And we don't get the respect, the accolades, the flowers, because we have changed this nation. They want to put the face of someone else on our efforts. And I refuse for that to happen. And if people want to call me racist or any kind of, it's so be it. But that's not who I am. I'm somebody who wants to tell the truth and celebrate who I am. Because when I look in the mirror, I see each one of us and more. And it's not, and let me say this, this book for white women can see this too, because they feel the same, just across the board women, this is a male-dominated world. But what does Shirley Chisholm say? Being black and a woman is a double whammy. Try that. Try that. And we rise in spite of, what did Maya Angelou say? And still I rise.
Still arise.
Come on now.
Absolutely.
Like I had diamonds in my thighs.
That's right. That's what it says. That's what it says. It does.
That's the part I remember, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, as a child I heard, I said, okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's the end of my questions. Gina, I said I was going to be the last one, but do you have
No,
your follow-up?
I have something.
Come on, Gina, come on.
No, we're going to close out with what I have, so I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay.
We'll open it up for questions, a couple of questions here. And
Don't be
then-
shy, I'm not
Don't be
shy.
shy. If you have, we have David's back here.
And for all of you who are
and
wearing
Ryan.
masks, I love you. I love you. COVID is not over. And when they pull that declaration down, I'm still wearing my mask. I'm just on stage, I take my mask off, but when I'm in the crowd, my mask is
He
on.
does, yeah.
And y'all don't know it's me. Y'all be like, hello, my sister.
Hello,
Okay,
my
AKA,
sister.
that's your soror.
That's my soror.
That's your
I
soror,
thought
okay.
you didn't recognize me because I had my mask
Okay.
on not too long ago. Yes. But
It's just so work.
yes, absolutely. But thank you again for being here, and thanks for all that you do for us, being at in the White House. I have a question. I work for a federal agency, and we
Black
work-
women are all up in federal government.
Well, in federal government, but not in the higher places.
Right.
Okay, and so now we have
And
the
middle
executive-
management.
Right, we have the executive order that Biden signed regarding the, diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and all that. So, at my agency, we have a black female who's over that particular department, but we still don't have a lot of black women up in leadership. And I just saw something the other day with, what's his name? Roland Martin, when he was talking about DEIA and it all being kind of a farce. he used some choice words. I don't know if you saw that video, but
I
wanted to
didn't
know-
see it, but I know Roland.
But I just know, what is your thoughts regarding DEIA and where we're going with it, or if so far as it's according to what he says?
The unfortunate piece is a lot of times people, you know, we let's just be real. There are people who don't believe in affirmative action. DEIA is just a whole nother word for affirmative action, right? So they've changed the name, but it's still the same old problem. You know, you have these organizations, you go to these events and these conferences, but you can never find the person to rise. There needs to be programs to put people intentionally. There needs to be, first of all, there needs to be intention for people to rise. There needs to be intention for a company to have people at high ranks. First of all, let's start there. Because if you don't have the intention, you just say, oh, let's see if a candidate is qualified, you're gonna play that game. Oh, we looked and nobody's qualified. First of all, the company has to have the intention, you know? And what I hate to say, but it's the reality, if there's not intention, if people don't have, it's not even about the heart and mind. Sometimes you have to make people do it because they won't do it, you know? It has to be intention. And I think what needs to happen is people in these spaces, if the company is saying, well, you said, you have to hold them to it. But you have to do it in a safe way because you can wind up getting fired for it, right? But if you have this whatever, I don't even know the name, the acronym for it. I don't even know it. I don't even care. But what you guys need to go in to those offices and say, look, what levels are you looking for to fill? You know, what level is it going to be, the highest level? Because, you know, yes, you have Barack Obama, yes, you have Kamala Harris, but those are two highest of the highs. But middle management is still missing and high management. You still have a problem with black women CEOs. You still have a problem with black women on national boards, you know? So, and that trickles down into the federal government. That trickles down into the private sector. And it's unfortunate that you have had to be this woman on the fast track to get there, but what about the other people who have been doing the work, who are qualified for the work? So you need to find out, one, and this, a young lady told me this, and I loved this. She went to a corporation, and she asked them, I thought it was so bold. She said, what are you gonna do to help me as a black woman win in this corporation? So what is a win? What does the win look like in that office and in that agency or that department? You need to find that out, first of all. How high can you go? How high will they allow you to go? There's so many different things. The construct of a win for different people means different things. But you need to find out, how high can a woman go? How high can a minority go? And you guys need to press that. And you need to make sure there's someone in the pipeline to go there. Because they can say, oh, well, we don't have anybody. Well, you need to make sure someone is being groomed to get there. It's not just one stop, right? Who's groomed to, we gotta open up pipelines. That's one of the reasons why I like bringing new people in. But it's the company's intention, is there someone in the pipeline, and is this company about winning for all, right? What does the win look like? So I think that's part of the construct. There's a lot more, but I believe that I believe success is when opportunity and, preparedness and training meet. Are there people in your agency prepared to rise? That's one thing you got. People who look like you, are you ready to rise? Because I'm sure you know everything about it. Why haven't you risen? And you need to find out, and you need to challenge them in a way that's safe, that you have your job, and that they are looking. Now that's real though, because some people are like, you know, but you also need to make sure that you're on that list to rise too, and that you've got the qualifications. You understand me? So I think that's real. So yeah, you're welcome.
We'll do one more question, and then we'll have an opportunity. All of your books are already signed. They have amazing book plates. Thank you for signing all of those. But we will make time for quick photos at the end, but we'll do this last question here.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we got to do the reveal.
Yeah,
So
I
we don't wanna
need to
forget
find
that.
out who I am.
Yes, yes.
Hello, Ms. Ryan.
Hi.
My question is, how are you able to hold it together when 45 in his administration was being disrespectful to you?
To be honest with you, I think I was in shock because it's now coming out. You know how you walk, because like with when my mother died, I didn't cry because I had to save my baby. And I walked through, now I'm starting to really, not grieve, I guess it's coming out in different ways, right? But I think I was in shock. How could an American president do this to me? But I had to understand in the midst of all of it, it wasn't about me. I was an example because I worked for a smaller organization, and they thought I was by myself. They wanted to cut my head off, put it on a platter, serve it to him, to make an example of me, to keep the other reporters in line. Well, what they didn't know is I'm Scrappy from Baltimore. They did not bet, because I'm a call the name. Armstrong Williams said, oh, they didn't know you'd be as formidable as you were. And they didn't know who I knew, right? So I had so many people behind me supporting me. I did nothing wrong. The First Amendment, these forefathers, these white forefathers who I'm sure owned slaves, never expected there would be an April Ryan. And they wrote freedom of the press. It's the First Amendment. I didn't ask anything wrong. And what really got them mad was when I asked, Mr. President, are you a racist? That got him hot. Oh, he was mad. He didn't answer the question. He acted like he didn't hear me. He went and hugged Paris Denard. Where's Paris now? Ooh. Went and hugged. I can do shade. I can do shade. Yeah. I smile and but let me tell you something. When you sit back and look over it, and they try to smear your name, try to get you fired, have people coming after you, sending you death threats, you know what you will and you won't take. And there was a point that I wanted to quit, especially when Sean Spicer said, now here I am, a grown woman with children.
Just shut up.
I'm in my community, people look to me, and he's gonna say, stop shaking your head like I'm a grade school child. I'm like, ooh, you just don't know. And I wanted to, I went in my office and I broke down, I really did, I broke down and cried. I had so many people call me from the then Homeland Security head, no, the prior Homeland Security head, Jay Johnson and Valerie Jarrett. And Valerie said, I've never heard you like this. She said, don't you ever let them see you cry. I said, I won't. But that evening, where's Ryan? You get over here, come here, you. Come here.
Yes.
Yeah, this one right here, we go back. He called me that night. Do you remember? I was driving, I couldn't get my mind together. It was like, I didn't get home, it was like 8 o'clock or so, 8 or 9. I'm normally off at 5. I was so messed up mentally, I couldn't do my work, and it took me a long time to get it together. So I got on the road and I was contemplating, what am I gonna do? I said, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I said, I don't come here to be insulted, called out of my name. I said, these people are mean, they're crazy. And I said, this is not okay. And the question I asked, I said, 2 questions I asked. I said, look, I said, how are you going to change the optics of all of this Russia speak? Well, this is Sean. Well, if we said Russian salad dressing, it would be blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, God. And I was just like, this is crazy. And he said, stop shaking your head. I'm like, are you serious? And then so my next question, I said, okay, you want to do that? I said, well, the president's going to meet with Condoleezza Rice, but didn't he call her a name that rhymes with witch? There you go again, stop shaking your head. I'm like, okay. So I was very upset. So it took me a long time to drive home. So Ryan, who now works for the library system, he was at the time working for the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. And Ryan called me and he said, have you seen, no, I think he was texting me first. And I didn't answer him because I was so distraught. And he kept calling me and he called me, I said, hey Ryan. And I was really, I don't even know if he knew that I was down. He said, have you seen it? Have you seen it? I said, seen what? Hillary Clinton's talking about. I said, what's she talking about me for? And I was driving, so when I got into my home, the home that I used to live in, before Trump made me move from death threats and bomb threats and all this stuff, Ryan said he sent me the link. And I'm almost getting ready to cry now because
It's okay.
you calling me, and I gotta give you your flowers right now, you calling me and telling me that helped me stay in that space. So Ryan said, have you not seen it? Have you not seen it? And I said, no. I got home, I went into my office, because my office was right off of my garage. And I looked, and I was shocked. Hillary Clinton said, and there are two people, this is her first speech after losing to Donald Trump. There are two people who have integrity, and April Ryan has the most impeachable, unimpeachable, whatever, integrity, and they went after her. Sean Spicer, did you see what Sean Spicer did? And that day also, or that week, who used to be on the air, what was his name? From Fox? We can't even remember. He's so, you know,
Shall remain nameless.
yeah, he talked about Maxine Waters and her hair. And Hillary Clinton brought that up and brought my name into the fall. I said, what? And if it hadn't been for Ryan saying that, so I said, you know what? I said, I am not going anywhere. I told my children to come downstairs. They said, what, Mommy? I said, just come downstairs. I want to show you something. I said, they said something, you're going to see some things. And that's another thing. As a mother, my children went to a school that was very good with showing, dealing with current events. And sometimes they would call me while it's happening, real time. When Donald Trump told me to sit down, my daughter was texting me, is everything okay? Because she saw the ticker across her computer. I can't tell my child something's going on, right? So I'm in the house, and I said, come downstairs. And I showed him Sean Spicer. Says, we don't like him. We don't like this. I said, I know, but look at this. We love Hillary. Oh, yes, we love Hillary Clinton. I said, I just want you to know everything is okay. Because I tried to be honest with them to let them know what's going on. But if it weren't for Ryan, I don't think. And I talk about Ryan a lot, and I've never been able to tell you in person. But for you to send me that and to think of me and care about me that much, or to think about me that much, to send me that, you kept me in that job and you didn't know that. And I talk about you quite a bit, but I just want to give you your flowers.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ryan Williams.
Ryan Williams.
That's right.
So amongst you is greatness.
Absolutely.
So he's now at the library. He made sure, he's like, we're going to get you at the library. So you did. You got me here, yeah?
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
It was real. And I think you've heard me talk about that, right? You've heard people tell you, yeah. But it's the truth. And to sit here and to say it now, and for him to be there, it's, whew.
Well, Miss Dr. Gina Page,
Uh-oh, what
will
am
close
I?
us out, and then we're going to share the results of your maternal side, the DNA ancestry.
All right, I know I'm short, so it's got to be short people. Short people. I come from short people. I'm short people African.
So you dedicated your book to your mother, Vivian, her mother, Etta, her mother, Ida, and her mother, Laura.
And Laura's name is spelled Larah, and that was wrong. I didn't know her spelling at the time. Larah, Laura.
And to the unnamed others who came before them.
I sure did. Look
And
at
it,
you.
come on, book. I'm tearing up. And endured the atrocities of slavery to safely deliver. I don't have my glasses on. To safely deliver the next generation. So because of those women, you and your daughters are here today.
Yes.
So when you took the African ancestry
Don't
master
you
class,
start.
we haven't even
I
started
know
yet,
I'm
y'all. We need
gonna
some tissue.
Yes.
So when you took the African ancestry master clan test, we used DNA that you have inherited from your mother. It's called mitochondrial DNA.
Mitochondrial DNA. Okay.
It's maternally inherited. So that means that you got it from your mother and it didn't change. She got it from, I should be saying the names. Vivian got it from
Etta.
and it didn't change.
Right.
Etta got it from Ida. It still didn't change.
Grandma Ida.
Ida got it from Laura. It still didn't change. We go back over 500 years, that mitochondrial DNA did not change. And when you passed it to your daughters,
It did not
it did not change. And they're going to pass it to their children and so on.
And it won't change.
It will not change. And so what we do is we take a portion of that mitochondrial DNA and the portion that informs for ancestry and look for matches among people somewhere else in the world. And when we find matches, you have to share ancestry with those people because it didn't change.
I'm
right?
not related to Dick Cheney like Obama and all them, right?
We don't do that.
Okay, good.
We don't do
okay.
that.
I'm just, you know.
We don't do that. And the other thing about
That's not a family reunion I want to go to.
No,
now.
we're not. The other thing about mitochondrial DNA, which I think is relevant here, is that it's what powers every cell in our bodies. So our bodies wouldn't work if it were not from that mitochondrial DNA that we inherit from our mothers. So we took your DNA, we found matches among people living in a very small country on the west coast of Africa called Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone is
So wait a minute. I'm related to Idris Elba because his daddy
Wait a minute.
is from Sierra Leone. His mama is Ghanaian. Let me go find Idris
no,
Elba.
no.
Yes. But he's tall. Okay. I'm the short people of Sierra Leone, but go ahead.
well, you're the Mende
Right
people
here, Mende,
of Sierra
very
Leone.
specific.
And
mom.
the Mende were on the
Up here,
Amistad.
Mende people. Tissue.
And so when you think about that story,
Child, you crying. You got
you we know
Oh
that
my God.
in addition to
To find out where you come from. I come from, that's why my mouth is so big, Sonia. That's why, yes.
so the Mende have this picture here is of a Bundu mask. The Bundu mask is a wooden mask that's worn by the elder women of the Sandy Society. And the Sandy Societies are groups of women that initiate girls into womanhood. So that's what
Black
you're doing
women will say
with this
this-
book.
April.
So congratulations.
So this is in my blood,
This
my
is in
Lord.
your blood. And other people that we've traced to, you know, some of your
You cry,
contemporary
don't you?
girl, I always
This
cry.
This is like crazy.
Contemporaries like you mentioned Dr. Maya Angelou.
She's Mende.
We traced her to the Mende people in Sierra Leone. Congressman John Lewis. We traced him to the Mende people of Sierra Leone. Chadwick Boseman. We
Oh my
traced him to the
God.
Limba
on,
people
greatness.
living in Sierra Leone today. So, thank
Your
you.
soror is helping you not to cry. But thank you.
It's too late.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we'll share
Is
it.
somebody
Okay.
taping this? Because I'm finding out as the world's finding out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh
It's
my
being
God.
live
So-
streamed right now.
Yeah, so
All right, well,
there's
y'all
so
find
much
out
for
when
you
I'm
to
finding out.
learn about the Mende people of Sierra Leone. Welcome to the African Ancestry family. You are now part of a family of over 1 million black people across the diaspora who can point to a present-day African country and ethnic group. And we're very proud to have you join the family.
That's phenomenal. Thank you. Black women will save the world. It's in your DNA. It is in your DNA, literally.
But
Your
you know,
people.
you always wonder where you come from. And many of us came on the bottom of those ships from West Africa, and it was cut off somewhere, and we didn't know the rest.
And we weren't supposed to know. You talk about that. You said that several times today. We were not supposed to know. So you doing this is an act of resistance, it's an act of healing, and it's an act of self-love and freedom. So speaking of freedom, hold on, I almost forgot.
You better end here. Come on,
So
the library-
I'm sorry, I know
Go
we
ahead.
gotta go, but Sierra Leone now offers citizenship to people who can trace their maternal or
Wait a
paternal.
minute, so dual citizenship?
Yes.
All right, so I was trying to go to Ghana like everybody else goes to
right.
Ghana, you
That's
know,
right.
at the end of the year. Wait
right.
a minute.
So you're welcome to come with us to Sierra Leone. We go in
When?
April and November, and you and your children would be able to get citizenship.
Can we do it next year? Because
Yes.
this year is packed.
Yes, we're going next year.
I'm getting married in October. I'm
Oh,
putting
yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah.
I'm putting money away. I'm putting money away for that. I'm like, I gotta put money away for this. Wow, I'm Sierra Leonean.
Well, congratulations. I know the library is looking and it's time because we can go and have a good time.
Library,
here.
thank you. This
Thank
library
you.
will always remain in my heart because I found out where I come from.
Absolutely.
That is something. Thank you, guys. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you
this
all.
experience with me.
Thank you.
You from Sierra Leone? Are you my cousin? You
Yes.
my cousin?
Yeah.
You don't know?
Yes.
Came to the Port of Charleston? Okay.
Right. Exactly.
My grandfather, Dollar Brown, was sold on the auction block in Fairfield, North Carolina. That's the last piece that I know of my mother's family. But I know now Sierra Leone, the Mendez
Mendez
tribe, the
people.
Hey.
Honey Chadwick and Idris and John and Maya
April.
and you. They my family,
And
girl. I'll be
April
like,
Ryan.
next time I see Idris, I'm say, hey cousin, how
Hey.
you doing? You know how we
Well, let's give it up one more time.
Thank you guys.
April
Thank
Ryan,
you. This is wonderful.
Dr. Gina Page, and Mahogany Books.
This is crazy. Oh my God.
Thank you, Gina.